Guys, I'm back. Who knew? My camera died a couple months ago, maybe a year, who knows. Anyway, I've still been digging bottles, as you can see, and I got a new case for them. So I figured this would be a great time to just check in, say that I'm doing well. Hope y'all are doing well, given the crazy times we're in. Hope you're all being safe during the pandemic. Just wanted to go over a couple of quick bottles, my favorites in the case. As you can see, I dig a lot of 1880s Gilded Age glass. So you're going to see a lot of aqua glass in here. Most of these on the top shelf are squat beers, squat sodas, very common during the 1870s and 80s. They are blob tops, meaning that the piece of glass here was actually a second gather of glass that was wrapped around while it was still wet and left to dry like this, unfinished, not tooled or anything. I believe this is an Andrews blob top, probably from 1875 or 80 or so. A lot of those up here is a Ruoff, Northeast Philadelphia, kind of sought after. These are the inks, which you've all seen in the other videos. A couple of clay inks, a couple of penny inks. Picked up this one, just a nicely tooled little handmade inkwell, penny ink probably. A couple of oddballs since I did my last video. I'm not sure if y'all saw that one. It's kind of like an 8-sided sheared lip. They were able to produce these very quickly because they didn't have to add the process of finishing the lip. They got them out of the mold, sheared, and done. Set to cool. A lot of other kinds of medicines, a lot of squat beers. A couple of these are applied lip, like this. Graver, this has the kind of more harsh shoulder, hard shoulder, and this is applied lip. So it was a blob and then it was tooled. So it's an applied tooled lip. If you look very closely at these, you can sometimes see a little drip of glass under the lip or under the collar. Down on the bottom, we have the big guns. We got a row of mustards just because I like them and they're short and they look well, display well. Big guns. One of my favorites. It's the only one I ever found. You guys already know these Warner's Safe Cure, kidney and liver cure. This I believe is one of the later ones. You can see it was blown in a hinge mold. Has a scar running across here. It's a little wonky on the base because the mold. I believe this is around 1885, 1890. Not one of the super early ones, but fun find. Hood sarsaparillas in there. Kickapoo Indian sagwa is in there. A couple of oddball local beer blob tops. Occasionally these pop up here and there. Clear local brewers. This is a Philly brewer. I love how these think of the address as northeast corner of rather than the number. Yeah, just blob tops, Philly beers, made them into the 1890s. These clear ones will probably purple up. If you put them in the sun, the manganese will start to pink and then purple up. Leave them for a couple of years or whatever, you can get them nice and amethyst. A little British sauce bottle, just an odd one. You don't see that green too much in the 1880s, but it is blown in a mold. It's got one of those squared off ring collars. And last but not least, we're going to look at a couple of flasks. As you know, flasks can range a lot in color. Here's a nice amber flask here. That's an amber, and then this is, I guess, what they call a citron. More like a green, yellow citrus. Just found that recently. So these would be hip flasks from the 1870s or 80s. They're all strap-sided. You guys who know bottles know what that means. Got a couple of big ceramics. Don't find those intact often. This one here is a Master Ink. This would have been probably had a label of what the brand was, but it has a pour spout, as you can see on the top, and all, hand-turned stoneware, 1870s, give or take, maybe 1880. And they would pour that. That was the ink that you would use to fill the little ink wells. What else? A couple of hutches. I don't find hutches too often. The Hutchinson seal, invented in the late 1870s, was a kind of a new closure for bottles. And I will show you one that actually has the complete mechanism. This is a Boyle probably 1890s or so, from Philly. It's got an address and everything. I have one here that has, I believe I still have one that has the complete mechanism in it. Yes, just a National Bottling Works, but you could see inside there was a little metal piece, kind of like a spring, and then there was another piece in here that would basically form a seal, and it would, when you pull it out, you break that, the metal piece, and the seal would stay inside, and you could drink the beverage. Popular for sodas, 78, 79 to maybe 1912, 13, 14, somewhere in there. So that's the case. Stuff on top, a couple of big milks. I just fill them with those styrofoam beads, and a couple of big wines. This one here is actually basically, it has some damage, but I kept it because it's base embossed, and it's a Coca Mariani. It was a coca-based wine, a cocaine-based wine, kind of like Coca-Cola, but it was about a few decades earlier, and this would have been around the 1880s. The really cool ones actually have the embossing right up below the shoulder here, but I like it, so it stays. Anyway, thanks guys for tuning in. I hope to post more content soon. I have not set up my cabinet yet for my smalls. I'm going to do that in a separate video. I've kept y'all long enough. Please be safe out there, and best to all of you.